Shake, shake, shake. Shake, shake, shake. Shake your groove, babe. What is this? Welcome back to another episode of Rainbow OMG Goodness. Well, today we are going to be talking about the exact thing that I'm working on. So over here, I have got a whole bunch of plant matter decocting in some olive oil. And today we're going to get into the ins and outs of the healing benefits of our sunshine salve that I make. So it's going to be a little bit of a long one. You should just be prepared for that by now. But I'm really excited because this is what I've been dreaming of for so long. So I'm going to talk to you today about all of the plants that are in my sunshine salve and why they're in there and some of their healing benefits. So first thing I do is I go and I pick all my plant material. So what's in this sunshine salve that I make? Well, it's calendula, a pretty little calendula that I picked from the garden. So calendula is anti-inflammatory for the skin. It's very soothing, it's very healing. You can see in the leaves that it's got these really shiny little, almost luminescent pearly like oils on the leaves, and that's very healing for your skin. So it's very anti-inflammatory. It's vulnerary, which means that it assists the body in healing wounds. So vulnerary means that it assists the body in healing wounds. Calendula supports the lymphatic system. It supports lymphatic health and activity. It's antimicrobial. It's antifungal, so treating funguses, irritations coming through the skin. It's amazing at healing and treating wounds, bruises, sprains, and burns, including open cuts and sunburns. It is antispasmodic. Would you believe that? So if you're having muscle cramps, muscle spasms, there's a good chance you probably need magnesium on that spot, but also antispasmodic herbs. So it can help relax the muscles that are having a little spasm. It normalizes menstrual cycles, thank you darlings, and aids in gallbladder and digestive issues, and it's hepatic, which means that it stimulates the liver and strengthening and toning the liver and the secretory functions. Okay, the next herb that I absolutely live and love is yarrow. Look at this pretty little thing. It is so beautiful and so dainty, and this is such a potent herb. So I'll tell you a quick little factoid. Back in World War I, soldiers used to keep vials of dried yarrow on them because this will actually stop and heal an open wound that is gushing with blood. So you can see all these little hairs on this. Those act like natural stitches. So when they would get injured, they would take out their vial, put this in the wound, and that would literally suture their skin back together and stop the bleeding, which is so amazing to me. So as a hemophiliac, I can't go anywhere without this. And one day my husband was in the kitchen, my son was talking to him, and he just happened to look away at my son to answer a question, and he nicked off the end of his finger. And you know, my husband usually doesn't come and get me unless it's like an emergency. So I was laying in bed and he said, Jill, I kind of need you. And immediately I was like, oh God, what is it now? You know, like you go from this restful state to this panic. And he had bled through like maybe 5 or 6 big bandages that he had put on his finger to try and stop the bleeding from gushing blood. And so luckily I had some of this dried yarrow in a little vial that I keep in our go bags, because that's just a herbal prep I have on hand in our go bags in our car, because you never know when you're going to need it in the bush or at any time. And so what we did is we literally took the dried yarrow and we sprinkled it on the gushing open wound, like literally just cut off the tip of his finger. And it hurt so bad. He was like, it felt like I was being cauterized. Like it was hot. It was like white hot heat. And he had to have a little sit down. so we didn't pass out from like the intense amount of blood loss and then just the pain that came with. So it acts as a cauterizer, but it immediately stopped the bleeding and it immediately started to heal it. And we took the Band-Aid off 2 days later to clean it, and it had just stopped the bleeding immediately. So we no longer needed a Band-Aid. And we cleaned the yarrow off it 2 days later, and it had totally sutured all the skin on the tip of his finger back together. So if you don't have yarrow growing in your garden and you have accident-prone children, you totally need this. So yeah, a cool little thing about yarrow. So this is diaphoric, which means that it reduces fever. So what this will do is it will induce heat and sweat in the body to bring it up, break the fever, and then your body at that point has literally killed whatever bacteria or virus is in your body, and your body temperature starts to come down. So this will also increase like perspiration in your body, which is another really important detox mechanism to your body. This also is a vasodilator, so that means that it can dilate your blood capillaries. People with varicose veins mean that their blood vein, the capillaries in their blood veins are permanently dilated open. And so this can, people with varicose veins, you want to be drinking yarrow tea because this will help close those capillaries. So this can either open capillaries up or close them. This is also astringent. So what this does is this firms and tones up the skin and the tissues, so it'll actually strengthen and tighten and firm everything up. And who doesn't need, I love a little bit of firming action. Okay, so this is antiseptic, so this will eliminate and prevent sepsis. This is anti-inflammatory. I know people that use this when they've had like chronic tooth issues. So this is, you can chew on a piece of this and it'll help. So this is also, it is, what's the word I'm looking for? This is a local anesthetic, basically. This will reduce pain dramatically. So this is definitely something you want to keep on hand. I've used it for a number of things, but this is why it works really well with women in menstrual cycles, because it draws fresh blood full of oxygen to the area. Okay, so this is, we already talked about its astringent properties. It's anti-inflammatory. It's also antispasmodic. So if you're having muscle spasms, this baby right here, if you drink it as a tea, it is a diuretic, so you want to be making sure that you're keeping your fluids up, but decocted in oil, you're just going to get all the benefits of, you know, like the astringent, the vasodilating, the diaphoric, which reduces fevers. This is hemostatic, which means that it actually stops bleeding, which was what we talked about earlier with the soldiers who used to take this into war with them. They would place it in a wound, and these little feathery hairs would act like stitches, and that's why I keep it in our go bags. And it's also very vulnerary, which means that it assists the body in healing natural wounds and sore and damaged tissues. So you'll find that like a lot of these plants I use have similar properties. Like most of their properties are very similar, but they differ slightly. My next favorite herb that I put in my sunshine salve is comfrey. Oh, I love comfrey. So we drink comfrey tea in our house, and comfrey is just an amazing plant. There's a lot of, this plant gets a lot of bad rap because the powers that be don't want you healing yourself. Surprise, surprise. And but this is really good for your animals. This is full of vitamins and minerals. So comfrey is also vulnerary. It will assist your body in naturally healing itself and healing damaged tissues, spraying tissues. This was traditionally known as knit bone. So this has the ability to set broken bones, which is freaking amazing if you ask me. It's also a I struggle with this word, demucescent, which means that it relaxes, soothes, and protects the tissues in your body. So it's also anti-inflammatory, it's astringent so that it tightens and firms all of it up, all of your muscles up. This can be used as an expectorant. What else? Have I missed anything? It reduces hemorrhaging. So another reason why this is really good for menstrual cycles. Soothing to dry. Okay, so this is why we drink it as tea, is because it is soothing to dry and inflamed digestive tract. So anyone with digestive issues, get your hands on some comfrey, dry it out in a dehydrator or just in a paper bag for a couple weeks, and you can crunch this up and drink it as a tea. I don't think I missed anything with this, but man, I love comfrey. We feed it to our chickens. I use it in my skin salve. So the active ingredient in comfrey is a chemical compound called allotonin. And allotonin actually stimulates healthy cell regeneration and expedites the healing process. So if you've got a wound or an open wound, and you're putting comfrey ointment on it, it will heal so quick. And I have seen this with friends and customers who have done extensive black salve treatments, and they use it to heal the scar tissue after their treatments. And I've seen this have like the most amazing real-time effects. And I'll tell you a story on that in just a minute. And the last herb that I put into our sunshine salve is plantain. So these are just two little babies out of the garden. I couldn't be bothered to run across the road to the street because I just got the baby down. But this is Plantago majorum. So this is there's two types of plantain. And normally when I say plantain, people say, oh, bananas? And I'm like, no. This is Plantago majorum. So there's two types. There's a broadleaf and a thin leaf one. Okay, so back to yarrow. So this is antimicrobial. It is astringent, so it does that firming and toning. It is also anti-inflammatory, so if you've got any inflammatory skin issues, this is going to be your friend. It's a demucescent. It's just a weird word to say. It's like speaking a foreign language. So that means the demucescent means that it relaxes, soothes, and protects your tissues. I actually make a tincture with this, which is just putting this plant, I pick it, I wash it, I soak it in alcohol, a pure alcohol, like 95% ethanol or something. And that is my go-to medicine. So we don't go to the farm without our plantain tincture because plantain is actually anti-venom. So if you get or have bad reactions to bee stings, if you're a beekeeper, I highly recommend getting or making yourself some plantain tincture. I've used this on bee stings and seen significant reduced swelling and duration. I've used this on bull ant bites. I've used this on mozzie bites. It works a bloody treat on mozzie bites. Anything that can really bite and inject venom into you, plantain tincture is going to just draw it out immediately. And that's what plantain does. A lot of people see this and they think it's just a weed, but what it does is it sends down a taproot and it's a mineral miner. It draws minerals up to the surface. But anyone who's telling you that this is a weed and to spray it, this is anti-venom. This could be the one weed that maybe saves your life. So I would highly recommend cultivating this and propagating it, and you will often find it just on the side of the road, in pastures. It's just a pastoral species of, it comes up with grasses, and this is so bloody important. This is like one of the this and yarrow are like the two things I have in our go bags and our first aid kits. Dried yarrow for when shit hits the fan and there's blood involved, and plantain for if there's any type of bite, including snake bites, spider bites, any type of thing that can bite you and sting. This is going to draw the poison and venom out. Including the other week I was at the farm and I got stabbed in the arm by a palm tree, and literally it stabbed me right in the vein and I started pissing blood like everywhere. And it, you know, there's some kind of poison on the end of palms that make them so like dangerous to be around. But I could immediately feel like blood clots starting under the skin, which is our body's natural response. But the first thing I did is I like just went to the first aid kit. I isolated the spot and I doused my arm, absolutely doused my arm with plantain tincture, because I knew that no matter what that palm frond stuck into my vein that was making it throb and swell, that the plantain would be drawing that poison out of the body. So I use plantain, and this is a godsend plant. And sorry, this one looks rough. We've had some grasshoppers this year. So it's also anti-venom. It's a valuable treatment against blood and glandular disorders. So again, like I said, I decoct this in an alcohol and then I dilute that in water. And this is a great expectorant if you guys have cough or you're prone to like damp lungs, what is it? Any type of lung issues where your lungs are either blocked or dried or filled with mucus. Diluting this in some water and drinking it will bring it up. It's an excellent expectorant. So it's also vulnerary, which means that it assists the body in healing. It's like rapid healing. It's an expectorant. It's a demucosant, which soothes and relaxes and protects the tissues. Anti-inflammatory, astringent, which means it tightens the skin and firms the muscles. Great for the digestive tract as well too. So it's antimicrobial, and anti-venom. So the other thing I put in, aside from the calendula, comfrey, yarrow baby, and plantain, is I decoct all of those ingredients, which means literally just decoction means extracting the medicinal properties out of the plant material. I decoct it in olive oil. And the reason I use olive oil in my skincare products is because a really good high quality olive oil actually, as you're massaging it into your skin, it stimulates the collagen production in your skin. So if you've been taking collagen and you're like, I don't really see many benefits, it's because the vitamin A in olive oil really helps bring the collagen to the surface. So it's like the more you rough it up and rub it in and smooth out those lines, the more collagen is flushing to the surface of your skin, which is so awesome. So that's why I use olive oil. Like I could use a lighter oil like coconut oil or, you know, almond oil, but I have just through my experience found that olive oil has the most long-lasting effects, and it's what gives, you know, Southern European women their radiant, beautiful, tanned, Italian-looking skin. And then the next thing I add to my Sunshine Salve after we've cooked down the ingredients, so they get, first of all, they all get they get dehydrated, they get put in a jar, they get extracted, then it gets cooked in this jar, then I strain off the plant material, and I add frankincense, because frankincense is, one, really relaxing to the autonomic nervous system, but two, it's extremely healing and super anti-cancerous. And I think that everybody needs a little bit of that medicine at the moment. And I add lavender essential oil to my Sunshine Salve as well, because lavender is also very calming and relaxing to the nervous system, as well as a whole slew of other benefits that lavender brings. And then the last thing I do to set my salve is I use, after all the plant material has been strained off, I use beeswax, local beeswax, to set the olive oil hard. So this is a shelf-stable product. We keep it in all of our go bags, and I've had the most amazing, like, real, like, just the testimonies make my heart sing, because I've given away so much of this stuff, like thousands of dollars worth of this stuff, and I've heard so many amazing things from like estheticians in LA saying like, I use this on all my clients' hands and they like can't get enough of it. I have seen it in real time. I had a lady with a she pulled a muscle in her finger and she was like, I have to get it operated on, and it's been bloody bugging me for weeks, and it's she overstretched the tendon or snapped the tendon or something, and she was just a bit frustrated and cranky because it's painful, and she put it on her finger, and she's just kept rubbing it in, and you know, 10 minutes goes by and she's like, oh my God, I can actually move my hand. This is amazing. She's like, it's not painful, and like it feels great, and this, yeah, I'll buy a jar. So like literally she was in pain for like 10 weeks and the doctors were like, you got to get it operated on. And she put this salve on, the Sunshine Salve on, and it worked in real time. I also had another friend who has 5 boys and they were like 5 boys under the age of 10. Crazy. But I love her to bits. And she said, I gave her a jar of this and I said, look, honey, I think you're going to need this. You got 5 boys and we're out in you're a long way from hospitals. We're way out in the country here. You know, there's kids bump and bruise themselves all the time. And she sent me a message like a couple weeks later and she's like, okay, my kids don't even come to me when they get hurt anymore. They just go find the jar of Sunshine Salve, put it on their bruise and keep playing. And that is because it is a local anesthetic, so it's going to soothe any sore pains or bumps or bruises, which is why it's extremely good for people with arthritic issues. And then it also brings a flush of fresh blood to the area, helping to repair it. And then it's got all of the medicinal benefits of things like comfrey, which are, you know, stimulate all the body's natural healing processes. And, you know, for a long time, I didn't know what to call this stuff. So, and one day I was watching the sunset and it was kind of just dawned on me. It was like, I am literally using the power of the sun through the plant material to make this amazing healing product. And that's why I call it Sunshine Salve, is because it might sound like a tongue twister to some people, but it's, you try standing outside in the sun with nothing covering your skin all day, every day, 365 days a year. You couldn't do it for like maybe even 3 hours. The sun is so potent and so powerful here. And so, you know, I'm really just, these are the solar panels soaking up all of that sun's potency. And then I take all the medicine from this leaf and I put it into an olive oil extract. And, you know, you're literally just taking all of that energy and putting it on your body, and that's helping your body to heal naturally. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I am wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and abundance. If you would like to try some, head over to our website at rainbowomg.com, and it's in our web store. So the thing is like, it's $100 for a jar, but a jar lasts a very long time. And with Sunshine Salve, anyone that uses it knows a little goes a really long way. So 1 jar should easily last you a year. The most common thing people tend to do is they put it on their skin and it makes them feel like a silky smooth goddess, and then they just keep going. So sometimes it doesn't last a year, but if you're being stingy with it, the jar should last you a year easily. Wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and abundance. And until next time, guys, stay happy, healthy, and holy. See you! And 2 other testimonies I thought worth mentioning was, one of them was had a friend staying with me, and she had a grandpa back in Canada who was dealing with shingles for over a year and a half, and extremely painful, extremely sores all over his body. And she bought him a jar of the Sunshine Salve and he put it on and his shingles were gone within a week. And he said it was immediate pain relief. And the next one is to my bestie Ruth, who unfortunately had to go for a major operation. and she went back to see her surgeon, and she bought a jar of the Sunshine Salve. She buys one when she comes up here, and she bought it because she knew she was going in for surgery. And she went back to her surgeon, I think it was 2 or 3 weeks later, and her surgeon said, "Oh my God, I have never seen anything heal so clean and so quickly." And her surgeon was even like, "Give me the name and number of this girl who I can get this from," because she's like, "I cannot believe how fast that scar tissue healed and how clean it looks." So if you're going in for surgeries, or you know somebody that's had a surgery, if you know somebody who's dealing with shingles or chicken pox or any type of kind of bed sores, Sunshine Salve could be a great gift of bringing peace and relief to all of those ailments. So this is really my healing gift to the world. I love hearing testimonies. It's really what just makes my heart sing and makes me know that I'm living with purpose, and that it's really what makes me feel truly alive, guys. So thank you for all your support, for those who have bought my Sunshine Salve. And if you would like to try some, head over to our website, and if I think of any more testimonies, I'll let you know. But I would love to hear some of your testimonies from the people that have used it. I recently just got a call from somebody who I gifted a jar to, and they were just blown away by how effective it was. They just couldn't believe how fast and immediate their relief was. So he had a migraine from having chronic tendonitis in the arm and carpal tunnel, and he put it on his wrist and his arm there where he had the tendonitis. And it was causing him to have chronic migraines up the back of his neck. And he said, "I put it on," and he goes, "I've been to osteopaths and chiropractors," and he goes, "The relief was immediate." So if you know anybody who you think might benefit from this, this might be a really beautiful healing gift to bless their life with. So thank you guys for all your support. Thanks for tuning in. Wishing you all health, wealth, happiness, and holiness. And until next time, I'll be in the kitchen cooking up a batch of salve. See you. And on a last note, the best for last category, I found a way to increase the medicinal potency of my plants that is a long lost technology. So it literally increases the amount of bioavailable sun energy and earth energy, and it is growing me the most intense and beautiful comfrey plants I've ever seen in my life. And so the next batch of Sunshine Salve is going to be mega potent. So stay tuned, folks. I'm going to share some of those little tips and tricks with you soon. All right, cheers. Bye. Not to toot my own horn here, but I've seen it used on tattoos as well. Excellent for healing tattoos because it moisturizes the surface, it takes away any pain, it keeps the tattoo clean. So great for tattoos. I use it on nappy rash, I use it on sore muscles, I've used it on open wounds, I've used it on post-birth healing. I've heard people using the Sunshine Salve on arthritis. I've heard them using it on a whole plethora of things, including, I wish that every footy player had a jar of this stuff on hand, because one, it strengthens and heals any damaged muscle or tendon or bone, and two, you know, I knew somebody that needed a double knee replacement. The doctors told him he needed a double knee replacement because he had cartilage. Cartilage had worn away in his knees. And I'm like, bro, you need to get onto collagen and Sunshine Salve. And he did, and he didn't need a double knee replacement in the end. So just goes to show the power of healing, the powerful healing benefits of plants. And make sure you're taking lots of collagen to keep your cartilage cranking and healthy and cushioning your joints and your tissues. And yeah, I think that every footy player should have a jar of Sunshine Salve. Anyone you know going for surgery, have it in your first aid kit, have it in your first aid cupboard. The benefits are far outweigh anything. I've only heard positive wonderful healing stories from using the salve. So go ahead and check that out on our website. Go ahead and do your own homework. Research all the medicinal benefits of the plants: comfrey, calendula, salve, plantain, yarrow. And yeah, try some today, guys. I really encourage anyone with any type of skin issues, including hyperpigmentation. I've seen it literally take hyperpigmentation and create nice, beautiful, even skin. So if any of that appeals to you, you can check that out on our website at Rainbow OMG. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Thanks again for tuning in. You guys are legends, and stay tuned for more holy granola goodness. Till next time, cheers, folks. I will also use the sunshine salve when it's a really cold winter day and I can't warm up my toes. I literally put it on my feet and it gets the circulation pumping. Also, super exceptional if you live in a cold climate and your skin is exposed to cold weather all day and it's really drying. Definitely want to be protecting your skin with this sunshine salve, because it will literally create a moisture barrier over your skin, protecting it from harsh, cold, icy winds. I use it even in summer when I've got like really dehydrated lips. I pretty much use sunshine salve for everything, including on my babies, in any emergency, any sore muscle, any cut, wound, bruise, like, yeah, you name it. I've gotten a lot of great feedback from massage therapists, from people. So it's kind of like my equivalent to Tiger Balm, except it's not creating an effect. It's actually healing the problem at hand, which is the damaged muscle or tissue or tendon or, yeah, so super potent medicine. I hope you guys try it. I hope you fall in love with it as much as I do. It literally makes you feel like a golden god or goddess. So just, that's my only disclaimer and warning is look out, you might fall in love with it. All right, cheers, folks.